right, what's good? I'm gonna give my thoughts on the Raiders' full draft and all the picks in it, and some of the free agents we signed directly after the the draft. But for the first two picks, I'm gonna give a really good breakdown, and then the rest I'm just gonna kind of skim over, but give my thoughts on them. And obviously we could sign, like 60 more free agents for all I know. But I'm just going to go to the ones that I know we signed right now, which is two of them. But I'll get to them later. So with our first round pick, we obviously went with Gareon Conley, the cornerback from Ohio State. For me personally, this was perfect because I really wanted a linebacker at first, and Reuben Foster was there. And I really wanted him because that linebacker spot is just something I want so bad, because the Raiders haven't had a linebacker who was just, who was good and, fun to watch and, a jersey you could rock. They haven't had, a true Raider linebacker in a while. So I really wanted Reuben Foster. I just feel like he could fit perfectly, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually glad that we went with Gareon Conley, and this is perfect, like I said, for me, because I'm an Ohio State fan, and him coming to the Raiders is like perfect. And also, I mean, this was an absolute steal. Like, say what you want about the potential of him being not even playing. I think that's not true. I mean, I feel like if the Raiders are going to spend a first-round pick on someone, I feel like it's not true. And plus, I've seen, like, the evidence and stuff that they have, and at this point, I'm just going to say it's not true, but, we got to keep our minds open, but this is such a good pick, like I said, because, and I even had him in my top 5 players in this year's draft. I believe he was number 4. It went Jamal Adams, Reuben Foster, Marshawn Lattimore, which obviously Jamal Adams and Marshawn Lattimore we had no chance of getting pretty much. But Reuben Foster, and I have Kevin King and Gareon Conley, which obviously we could have gotten all three of them. But we went with Gareon Conley. But first of all, without even just factoring how good of a player he actually is, thinking about like his story now that he has, I feel like he's gonna absolutely ball. Because if you think about it, I mean, he came into this year's NCAA season not ranked, that high. I mean, people knew he was a good corner, but he was not ranked, that high. And then he worked hard all season, got better and better and better, gave it everything he got, finally got ranked as that, low second round, first round kind of lock. And then he went to the combine, worked out really, really, really well. And then he was kind of like a top 15 pick lock, potentially. He had that potential to be in the top 15 for sure. And, a lot of people thought he was the second best corner behind Lattimore, which obviously I'm a huge fan of Lattimore as well. But, yeah, a lot of people thought him and Marlon Humphrey, they were kind of battling for that number 2 spot. And then, Sidney Jones was in there as well. But, yeah, I mean, and then to get him at pick number 24 when a lot of teams passed on him that needed a corner, I just feel like this was such a good pick. And, I mean, now for, like, the actual player, Gareon Conley, the reason why he's so good is because he's going to come in and he's going to play immediately. And honestly, the way I feel like Sean Smith has lost a step. He's still a good player. He still can lock up those big body receivers. But Gareon Conley, I feel like he's going to come in, and within 2 to 3 weeks, he's gonna be at the number 2 spot, right behind Emerson. That's just my prediction, kind of. But I'm really confident in that statement, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. But Garyon Conley, I mean, he can play. The reason why a lot of people love him so much is because he can play man, he can play zone. He doesn't. He's really, really good in man, but he can play zone, just as well. His press can sometimes be inconsistent, but he's really good when when he's on the top of his game in press. He's really good. He ran a 4.44, which is amazing for his size. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. Just a prediction. I feel like they're not gonna make him, but maybe he's gonna go up to about 200 pounds, kind of like Emerson. Emerson's 6'1", 203-4 pounds, whatever he is. I feel like that's what he's gonna go to, and him and Emerson together, that's gonna be really great. Because him and Emerson are both really good athletes. He did really good in the Garyon Conley, that is. He did really good in the 3-cone drill, and the shuttle, the broad jump. He jumped a 129-inch. 37-inch vertical, 11 reps on the bench press. So I mean, he tested really well, and I really feel like that he is going to be an instant great player for this team. So I mean, I know I went over that for a while, but for these first two picks, I'm going to give a good in-depth analysis of what I think. Now, with the second pick, the second round pick, pick 56, we drafted Obi Melifonwu. Now I am so hyped about this pick. Like, initially when we drafted him, I was so hyped because just the fact that he was there, like the fact that we actually drafted him, and he was also in my top 10 players. You can go check out that video, but he was in my top 10 favorite players in this draft. And I mean, how could you not, like, unless you pick this guy over someone you needed, like you really needed really, really bad, how could you not be excited no matter what team you are, no matter what pick you are? How could you not be excited about this dude? I mean, he's 6'4". He's listed at safety, but he's 6'4", 224.5 pounds, right? He ran a 4.40, a 4.40 at 6 foot 220. That is unheard of. That is absolutely ridiculous. And that's kind of like a classic Raider pick, the absolute like freak of a man. I mean, when you look at this dude, like I'm jealous of the way this man looks. Like, why can't I have those genetics? Like, I mean, this dude, like every athlete, every football player, like this is what you hope your genetics are like, because I mean, he's fast, tall, big, strong. His arms are lengthy. What are his arms? His arms are 32.5 inches. I mean, he even has big hands. Like, I mean, the man is just big everywhere. He is just a genetic freak. That's what everyone's calling him, and that's what he is. And he's not just that. He's a good football player, too. And he's listed at safety. But he can play anywhere. He can play free safety, strong safety, corner, and yes, he can play corner well. Actually, we've seen that he can play and he can cover well. He can cover some of the best receivers, in the NCAA, very well. So he could. The thing about him is one game. Like say we're playing, a division rival in the Chargers. The Chargers now drafted, Mike Williams. They have Hunter Henry, who's, a 6'5", and Mike Williams 6'4". So, I mean, they have all these big guys, and he can stay right with them. I mean, he's even faster than them, too. So, and also, adding him to that cornerback lineup of, just a bunch of big corners. Emerson's 6'1" and lengthy. Obviously, Sean Smith is lengthy, and he's 6'3" as well. 6'4" Melifonwu, and Conley's big. Like he's not that big, but he's big. I mean, I just can't wait to see how the Raiders use him. Like, just picturing our secondary in my mind right now, like what it could be. It could be, it could be Amerson at the 1, Garyon Conley at the 2, Carl Joseph at the strong safety, and then Melifonwu at the free safety. Obviously Reggie and Sean Smith. I'm talking about the future of the secondary, so they could be gone or whatever, but still, even with, and then you just add the fact that they're still there, and then TJ Carey is there, and we drafted a bunch of other safeties. Like I'm so happy with this secondary right now. So yeah, these first 2 picks, we nailed these picks. Yeah, I love both these picks. Now the thing is, after these picks, I was like, oh my God, Reggie McKenzie is being Reggie McKenzie again. For the last couple of years, he's absolutely destroyed every single pick to me. Like almost every single pick that we made, I was hyped for every single one. But then it kind of slowed down after this, because in the 3rd round we took. Now I'm gonna give kind of just a blowover analysis. In the 3rd round we took Eddie Vanderdoes, a DT from UCLA. Now this pick kind of. I wasn't really happy with, because yes, I'm okay with taking a DT, but I feel like we could have got a DT that was just as good, or maybe a little bit, worse in the 4th round. And then with this pick, we could have got a linebacker, because there was a lot of linebackers there still. And I just feel like this pick, like I don't know, but Eddie, he's a 6'3", 305-pound DT, and the thing about him is he's really explosive. Like, he ran a 4.99. He's explosive and he's quick, so he could be potentially a good pass rusher. And honestly, like, I know I just kind of trash talked the pick like a second ago, but realistically, he could be a very good, because we get Mario Edwards back next year, and if Aldon Smith could stop smoking weed every day of his life, then that's going to be dangerous, with Khalil and Bruce and Mario Edwards, and then we added Shali Calhoun and Jahi Ward, stuff like that. That's going to be dangerous if Eddie turns out to be a good pass rusher. But, this pick's okay. I definitely would have liked to see a linebacker here, but this pick's, I can't really complain. He looks like a pretty good player. But yeah. And then with the our 4th round pick, we drafted David Sharp, the tackle, quote, from Florida. I don't think he's a tackle, to be honest with you. I can't see him being a tackle, to be honest. He's 6'6", 343 pounds. That is a very, very, very big man. That is scary. But I don't know. He could be a tackle. I definitely could see him being a tackle, but I don't know, man. I feel like he's just a little bit too big. And I don't know what, I don't know how I know he's athletic, but I don't know how quick he is. I don't know if he can stay with some of these finesse guys on the outside, but we'll see. We'll see what they do with them. But I really like this pick. I'm fine with this pick. I like this pick. I think adding depth to the offensive line is great, man, because some of them are getting older, like Donald, but this pick is great. I like this pick a lot. Round 5, we drafted finally a linebacker now, and when I say finally, I mean like I was waiting for a linebacker since round 1. But we go with Markel Lee, linebacker, obviously, from Wake Forest. Now this was kind of anticlimactic to me, because I really was waiting for a linebacker just to picture, him being a Raider. Now, I'm not saying this guy's bad or anything, because first of all, I didn't watch a lot of tape on him. He's from Wake Forest. I didn't really want to watch a lot of Wake Forest tape, but he's definitely a good linebacker. From what I've seen, And I mean, the guy. I mean, like some of the scouts and stuff talked good on him. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Elijah Lee, another linebacker, was there the whole time. He was there for like 4 more of our picks, and I feel like we should have taken him too at least, because I just feel like we need a sideline to sideline kind of hitter, and Markel Lee isn't really that. I mean, he's definitely a hitter, and he's definitely a good, a big linebacker in the middle, but I just feel like, I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. I like him right now. I mean, he's 6'3", 240 pounds. That's a big dude. I like his size. I mean, and he hits pretty hard. He likes to thump. He did 25 reps of the bench press. He has 32-inch arms, 9-inch hands. I mean, he's nice. But I just feel like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But being 6'3", 240 with long arms, that's already a good indication of what he could be. But his speed is just not there for me. But we'll see. But I do like that pick though, even though I just kind of shit talked it. I do like it though. With our first 7th round pick number 3, we took Shalom Luani, safety, from Washington State. Now, this pick kind of confused me, and by kind of, I mean really confused me at first. First of all, just because it was another safety, and second of all, because I didn't really, I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't watch a lot of stuff on him. But this guy, I mean, he's a playmaker. He's 5'11", 202 pounds is what he listed at. I mean, he's a playmaker. I mean, he's more like a nickel safety. Like I just said like 5 times, he's a playmaker. He's a guy that can, pick a ball off, and then every time he picks a ball, he has the potential to take it for 6 every single time. So, I mean, I like this pick. It adds depth to the safety spot. It adds depth to our secondary. Like I said, he can come out and play nickel corner and, make some plays. So I definitely, don't mind this pick. But, yeah. With next 7th round pick, pick 13, we drafted Jalen Ware, another offensive tackle from Alabama State. Now, again, this guy is a very big man. He is 6'8", 295. His weight isn't as big as Mr. David Sharp, but he's 6'8", which is 2 inches bigger. Now, a lot of people are saying that this dude has potential to be, an all-pro offensive tackle because of his build. It'll take a couple of years for that to happen, but his build, because he's 6'8", like I just said, 295, and he has a lot of mobility. So, that's a good combination right there. Mobility and size for a lineman. But yeah, I mean, I like this pick. It was nice to get another tackle. I like this pick, especially because, a really athletic tackle, a really big, freak athletic tackle, just like Sharp. So I like this pick. Our next 7th round pick, we had 4. I really like this pick. Elijah Hood from North Carolina, running back. I really like this because obviously we got Marshawn Lynch, but we needed a running back who can be a bell cow, a 3-down back kind of guy, a big bruising back in between the tackles. We needed one of those guys for when Marshawn leaves, or just when if Marshawn would get hurt, or if he's tired, whatever. We just need another one because, DeAndre Washington and Jalen Rashad, I really like them. I like them in special teams. I like them catching out of the backfield. I like them making plays out of the backfield. I like them a lot, but those guys, don't run between tackles, right? Elijah Hood is a 5'11", almost 6 foot, 232-pound back, and he is, like I said, he's a bruising back. I mean, he's an all downhill, straightforward, running over people, trucking people, whipping them down with his stiff arms. He's that kind of guy. So I really like this pick. I think, him coming in and learning from beast mode, that's perfect. And especially putting him behind the Raiders' offensive line, which is, all power and blunt force. That's a pretty good pairing. So, with the last pick that we got Trayvon Hester, defensive tackle from Toledo. Now, I'm not even going to try to give my, analysis on this because I'd be lying because I don't know anything about him. From what I've heard, he's just a big dude. He's 6'2", 300 pounds. And from what I've heard, he's just a big guy who can stop the run in between gaps. That's what I've heard. And, I mean, I'm okay with this pick. I mean, I don't know if he'll make the roster, to be honest with you. He could, but I just don't know unless he's, we'll see, though. But I feel like this is just kind of a pick to give, the other DTs some competition and make them work. But we'll see. He could end up being a good player. But yeah, I mean, like I said, any compliments to Khalil Mack is nice, and no matter what it is. But yeah, that's our draft class. That's who we drafted. We do have 2 more rookies that we signed directly after the draft in free agency. Now, obviously, there could be a lot more. There could be like 60 more for all I know. But at this point, obviously, I don't know, and I'm not going to wait for all the guys to sign. I'll probably just make another video at the end of it and talk about all of them. But one of them we got was Pharaoh Brown, tight end from Oregon. Now, I was pretty happy with this pick because, he's kind of like my dude that I had for tight end, my sleeper guy. I made a video on him. He was in my top 5 sleepers, and I think he can be great. He's a 6'6", 250-pound tight end, obviously, from Oregon, and he is, the best way to describe him is just a weapon for Derek Carr. I mean, worst comes to worst, he is just another weapon for Derek Carr. But I mean, like I said, he's 6'6". He has 35-inch arms, which is great, and he has 10-inch hands. So he's big, and the run blocker, the potential is there. He's not great, even though he flashed some of the potential of being a good run blocker. But he has everything you need. He's 6'6", 250 pounds with 35-inch arms and 10-inch hands. Like right there, that's potential to be a good run blocker. He just needs to learn technique, pretty much. He has all the measurables to do it, and also he's 6'6", and he's a good red zone target for Derek Carr. I mean, to go along with Clive and now Cook. Cook's more of like a really good finesse kind of do-it-all receiving tight end, and now we got 2 big run threats in Clive and Pharaoh. So I really like this pick. I think he'll definitely make that 3rd tight end spot, to be honest, and maybe even push 2. You never know. Clive, I like Clive, but I feel like he could push 2. And something about Pharaoh Brown that's interesting too is he's really quick, and I feel like he doesn't want his body size. And the best way to explain it, because he played, like, when he has the ball, like when he catches screens, not screens, like when he catches slant routes and 5-yard out routes and stuff like that, just anything quick, like a quick pass, he would always, he has good quickness. He would always juke out some of the defenders, make people miss, which is kind of crazy at the fact that he's so big and lengthy that you'd think he'd be kind of sluggish, but no, he actually has some nice quickness. I don't know about straight line speed, but he has good football quickness, So I like this pickup. I feel like I don't know. I feel like he could potentially take that number 2 tight end spot in my mind. To be honest, but yeah. So I like this pickup. But the next guy we got is, as of right now, is Ricky Jefferson. Ricky Jefferson is a safety from LSU. Now, I don't really know anything about him, to be honest. No one really knows a lot about him because, he's had some problems with injuries. But I do know that he's a 5'11", pushing 6 foot, 200-pound safety. And he's kind of like Carl. He's kind of like from what we've seen, he's like a lower rated version of Carl. He can definitely smack people in their mouth. He definitely can tackle and make some plays, and he's best classified as a playmaker. So, I mean, and he's from LSU, so DBU. So he's from the DBU. He's from LSU, so he's got to have some potential. I feel like getting an LSU player that's just like. He got to have some potential in there somewhere. So, I really like these 2 guys we signed so far. We'll see we'll see what other guys we sign in the future. Hopefully we sign, maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 linebackers to see what happens. But, overall, I'm really happy with this. I think that Conley and Melifonwu are going to come in, and they're going to be instant impacts, and I feel like the other guys have potential to do that as well. So I'm really happy with this draft. Let me know what you guys think about this draft for the Raiders. And also, I'm going to be making some highlight tapes of all of the players that we got. But I'm going to wait till we got the free agent haul because I'm going to make a big, long highlight tape of like 2 highlights per person or maybe 3 and see how that goes. So, yeah, look for that. And, yeah, peace out.